The honourable member for Halifax Needham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development. Her department appeared at the Public Accounts Committee in October to talk about school food, where staff said we're actively working on the Universal Lunch Program for Nova Scotia schools, and suggested that they would be bringing a request for funding for a school food program for this budget, and I'll table that. Mr. Speaker, did the minister submit a funding request for a Universal Lunch Program for this budget?
The Honourable Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the member opposite for the question. We know how important it is for students to be able to access healthy nutrition, not only for their educational needs, but also for their well-being. And I can assure Nova Scotians that any student who needs food in school Any student in school who needs food gets food. I can also assure the members opposite that we are continuing to work with the federal government to explore what may be available for universal food programming. We do have a breakfast program, an excellent breakfast program in Nova Scotia. We've also started pilots across the province in areas to look at lunchtime options, and those include salad bars and fruit bowl programs and other programs. So we are actively working to expand access to food in schools because we know it's important to families and students. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Halifax Needham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I said universal lunch program for Nova Scotia, so I'll take that as a no because we know that in schools staff provide that food. So, Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General said that when the report was released last year, Nova Scotia needs to do a better job serving healthy food in its 366 public schools, or risk spending billions of dollars in future healthcare costs. And I'll table that. Let me tell you how much new money for school food is in this budget. Zero. So, Mr. Speaker, can the minister explain to parents, students, teachers, and staff what happened to all the work at her department on a universal lunch program?
The Honourable Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the member opposite for the question. As I indicated, we are working to expand access to food in schools. So we have introduced pilot programs in Nova Scotia that include lunch programming, salad bar programming, accessing local, nutritious, grown food that are community-based and that support our student food needs. What I would also encourage the members opposite to do, though, we've been working closely and with the federal government to encourage them to follow through in their commitment to support a universal food program. My conversations with the minister continue. Those are positive conversations. Our departments are working together. Nova Scotia is poised to act when the federal government steps up, and we encourage the members opposite to encourage the federal government to support us in those actions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.